welcome to the latest episode of
Unfiltered Brew.
Woo, it's already April.
I know. The other day I looked at it. I'm like, we are like the first quarter of 2026 is already gone.
Well, and we're a year old.
We are a year old.
We are now
a year old.
Unfiltered Brew is a year old. Oh, by the way, I'm Deb Miles.
And I'm Kim Becker.
Yes.
Yeah, you should know who we are.
Well, I work for a radio station here in South Bend, Indiana. You are a president and of Hello Gorgeous.
Of Hello Gorgeous, a
yes.
nonprofit.
Yes. And Hometown Living. You also do a local TV station show. So, yeah, we're all over the place. But not everybody might know us if you're listening from somewhere else. But thank you for listening, Unfiltered Brew. And this whole month, when you talk about spring, last month we talked about spring and everything. But I am finally getting out more. Are you?
Me too. Well, and I love it. My bedtime is early because of the fact that I have to get up so early. Mm-hmm. And it gets harder this time of year to go to bed early because it's staying lighter out longer. However, I am loving that it's staying lighter out longer. I don't, in the wintertime, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, I just want to go put my pajamas on, put on my heated mattress pad, and become a hermit. Like, I don't want to go anywhere. I don't want to see anybody. And so now with it getting lighter out longer, oh my gosh. Yes, I'm out doing things because it's nice out.
Well, that's important too. And I'm doing more things with family and things like that, which is a good thing and a bad thing. I love my family. And, they're getting smaller every year. So It's always a good thing to spend time with them when you can. But, you always kind of digress, I should say. I just recently had a trip to Chicago, which we like. It's only about 90 miles from where we're living near. And my brother he loves travel, so he knows all the ins and outs of all the cities, all the transportations. So I went with my brother Ron and my sister-in-law Judy, and they're elderly. They're a lot older than I am, and it's just a whole different dynamic now because when you're with your siblings, usually you kind of joke around with each other, and here it's like. I almost felt bad doing that because I felt I should, respect him more. But then I thought, no,
he's your elder,
right? And so then we kind of reverted back to that.
Isn't that funny how that happens?
Yeah.
I wonder if my siblings will look at that like at me like that eventually because I'm the oldest of 4 girls.
Oh yeah.
So there's 2 years difference between me and my sister Amy. And then 5 years difference between me and my sister Tina, and then 12 years difference between Trisha and I. And so at one time I'm going to be old, way old.
If you're lucky.
And a lot older than them. And I'm wondering if they're going to say, oh, we need to respect our elder and it's Kim.
But maybe not. Maybe you revert back because there's always things that you always have with your siblings. Jokes, maybe, or stories that you always bring up. And to me, I kind of like that in the fact where it's kind of reassuring to know.
Yeah.
Because I noticed my brother's getting a lot more emotional because he's had some health issues and now he's much better, but he gets very emotional about talking about my parents who are gone and the past and his grandkids and things. And I almost don't want to bring things up to laugh with him, whatever. It's kind of changes it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think sometimes though, too, bringing those things up, what I have always loved about you is your sense of humor and how you can lighten any situation. And so sometimes I think you being you and just doing that, it may help him to kind of, you're not making fun of it at all. You know what I mean? You're just finding the humor in that situation. That's what it is.
And he is very stoic and he jokes around, but he is not, sometimes it's very dry humor and he doesn't always find the funny side of things. Like
he doesn't think it is as funny as we think it's funny.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha.
Like, first, as we're walking, of course, Chicago, the Windy City, he always wears a hat. And, of course, it blew off his head. And he started to run after it. And I said, well, don't run after it. Just wait till it stops, or because it was right there. And there was a nice guy that was behind us, and he went to get it. And my brother goes, I'm just going to forget about it. He got all mad about it. I said, you can't get mad over your hat blowing off you in the Windy City.
Because you are in the city of the wind.
Right. And there was the nice man and his wife. They stopped. He went under the truck, got the hat, got in the hat. And I said, say thank you, say nice things. And then quit mumbling and grumbling because it blew off. But it's just so funny that, I always felt, because he was so much older than me, that he was almost like a father figure type to me. Which has always been kind of reassuring, but also a little bit controlling.
Sure.
And he was.
Oh, Trisha will tell you all about that. So the 12 years difference between Trisha and I, and she is my director of operations for Hello Gorgeous. And, she'll introduce herself to people and we start in a conversation and she'll say, yeah, Kim still thinks I'm 5. I'm like, well, yeah, there's probably a lot of truth to that. You still being the oldest and the youngest and she and I are the closest. It's, I want to protect her. I want to make sure that she's okay. I want to make sure I don't want her to make a mistake. I want to be able to, but yeah, I do. I'm good at that. I treat her like that she's 5.
And it took him a long time to figure out that I do have a job. That I just don't, it's a radio job and it's a lot of fun and I get to do a lot of fun things, but he is from the business background. So to him, how's that little job you have? Or how's that little, he goes, I'm really not into country music. I heard that a lot, over the years.
But wait, you were just inducted into the Indiana Hall of Fame.
The Broadcasting Hall of Fame.
Broadcasting Hall of Fame. You've been here almost 26 years.
Yeah.
Your ratings are through the roof. How can he not know who you are?
Well, he does, but then there was a switch. I mean, my sister-in-law listens to me every day, but I don't know if he does so much. Maybe now that he's retired, he does, but I don't know if there was just something because of the Big Brother thing. He felt that I was like kind of the gypsy, the irresponsible one. But I have always had a job for the last 38 years in this business. I've only been unemployed 1 week out of that 38 years in this business. So I think I'm doing something right.
I think you're doing a lot right.
But it's just so funny that dynamic. And it's changed now because he's retired and I'm still working and, he'll say, how's that job going of yours? Oh, it's going just fine.
I'm still there. Mike always used to have a saying, and that was that you can't be a hero in your own hometown, right?
Right.
So I think sometimes with your family, they just treat you like normal family. They don't treat you like the superstar that you really are to so many other people, and so I think that they don't get it.
And then I have my cousin who we met in Chicago. She loves to ride the train. She lives in California. So she always stops in Chicago for a couple of days and we go to Chicago to meet her. And she just loves my job. She can't get enough out of it. She keeps asking all my questions. So when I talk about it and what I do and who I've seen and talked to, whatever, my brother goes, well, I guess we're going to have to just listen to this for the next half hour. And I said, well, no. So usually my cousin and I have to
bragging. She wants to know.
Right. She wants to know.
Yeah.
What was it like to meet Garth Brooks? What was it like to do this? I don't always say that, but she brings it up.
Yeah.
So it's interesting because if you have a big family, I would imagine you have even more issues. But my family, like I said, is getting smaller, and I just try and do more with them because we've had some sickness the last couple of years, and I just starting to enjoy them more.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Well, I think enjoy and then appreciate.
Yes,
knowing that they're a little older, and so in all actuality, you don't know how much time you'll have them. So you just appreciate all the time that you have with them. I think that makes a difference.
But you find when you have siblings that are older, you start talking about morbid things. Like again, he brought up to the fact now, do you know where you're going to be buried? I said, why? What?
Right.
Well, this is why. Because they bought an extra plot, and they have somebody's ashes in part of the plot. So they've got half a plot that they'll give me a good deal on. If I get cremated. And I'm thinking, do I really care what happens to me after I die?
You're gone. You're not going to know.
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
But he goes, I'll give you a good deal on it. I said, give me a good deal. It's just going to sit there empty anyway. So we ended up
You're
talking
supposed to be taking care of your little sister. There shouldn't be a good deal.
Right, exactly. But then they don't. They have trouble driving now, apparently, because they're older. And so I had to drive to the airport, and of course, you have the QR code and everything now.
Yeah,
when you park,
ones, yes.
When you park in the parking lot there, and they didn't know anything about that. I said, "Well, I'll drive and I'll do it." So I'm doing it. My sister goes, "I am so proud of you. You are so savvy with all this stuff."
And for us, it's just like a day in the life of. It's just what we do.
Believe me, I'm not the most savvy person in the world, but I guess to them.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. She can use a QR code. Look at her.
Well, I don't even know where it is on my and they're all looking on their phone trying to find where the QR code scanner is. I thought, okay, never mind.
I got it. I got you.
This is my time to help you out.
That's right.
And he gets all mad when you bring that up. Oh, yeah, they always making fun of me. And I said, no, I'm really not. But it used to be cool when I was a little kid, because he's 13 years older. When I was a little kid, he was a teenager. So, when I was like 4 or 5, he was like 17 or 8. He would put me in my grandpa's Studebaker. My grandpa had an old Studebaker that he gave to my brother. And we would drive to Chicago and go like to the Schubert Theater and stuff. He'd buy tickets because there were no Ticketmaster or things like that back then. And so he would take me with him. I was a little kid. He was babysitting me.
Aww.
He'd put me in the car and take me to Chicago, and we'd buy tickets to whatever concert he wanted to see, Chicago or, whatever, whoever he wanted, whoever was. And he would take me with him.
Wow, that's very cool.
Yeah, so he always would take care of me then. And my other brother was always kind of mean. Called him Dennis. His name was Dennis. He was Dennis the Menace. And he would always do really bad things. But
aww.
But yeah, so it's kind of funny the other way around now. I can kind of take care of them.
Yes.
So they would never
Especially
admit
with
that.
the QR code.
That's right. Yeah. They won't panic. Goes, well, we want you to drive because you've got to park in the parking lot. You got to go to the right one. I said, well, long term, right? Because, long-term parking, we're going to be gone for a couple of days. Okay. Well, long term, you got to be very careful. And it's all different now. You have to know your license plate. I said, well, it's on my car, so I can just take a picture of it.
Right. But they don't, it's for them, it's overwhelming. Like, we have no clue. We have no clue.
I feel kind of proud of myself that I can now teach them.
Right.
Or I can help them.
Yes.
It's kind of fun.
Yeah, I love that.
I do too. But you know what? But the holidays aren't the same. How was your holiday?
Easter was good.
Yeah.
My favorite holiday is Dingus Day, though.
Oh, I was going to ask about that too, because not everybody knows Dingus Day.
Yeah.
And I'm getting more and more disappointed with our population here. Whenever I talk about Dingus Day, what is Dingus Day?
Yeah.
And that kind of hurts my heart.
Well, it's funny. So there's only 2 places in the United States that celebrate Dingus Day. It's Buffalo, New York, and South Bend, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
And I met somebody on Dingus Day, and we got to talking about it. And they said, that Dingus Day in Buffalo, New York is way different, where ours is just an excuse to day drink. That's really all it is.
Right.
Where in Buffalo, New York, they have a parade and a 5K. And, then you go out to all these places and stuff. And I thought, I wonder even if they did that. But ours has become, you go and it's a political holiday where you get the politicians out and, you get to see a bunch of people. And I mean, we had a blast. We went over to one of the American Legions and they had a good band. And we ended up just staying there until I got an SOS call. But I'll tell you about that in a minute. But anyway.
Dingus Day, by the way, is there's a lot of Polish people. It's a Polish holiday.
Yeah. And
it's they celebrate the day after Easter. Because they have extra eggs and stuff, and
it used to be like a matchmaking day.
Yes,
it was like a Sadie Hawkins kind
of thing.
Willow
right.
thing. That's right. You hit the girls on the back of the leg if you liked them. Or,
you can't. Yeah. It's all I've got to say. It's Polish, and I'm half Polish and half Italian.
Yeah.
So believe me, I understand it.
Yes.
But we used to always go. There's a little West Side Democratic Club, no longer. But they did have something somewhere else.
So they ended up doing the West Side Democratic Club had a flood. So they ended up doing it at MR Falcons this year.
They have
which
Polish
MR
sausage.
Falcons used to be like the place to go.
Yeah.
Like that was the place. But yes, they have all kinds of food choices.
You got the Polish sausage, you've got the noodles, you've got the mashed potatoes, green beans, cabbage, all of that.
Pierogies. That was my favorite.
Good too.
Yeah. And this year they did, not only did, so MR Falcons hosted what would have been the West Side Democratic Club, but then St. Hedwig had something this year. Okay. And so theirs was like 1 to 6 or noon to 6 or noon to 8 or something. And they had a band, like a true like Polish polka band. And it was a good time.
And it's kind of a unique celebration. So if you may not have heard of it, but it's right after the day after Easter. So you're right. That's one of those days where it's almost like a Super Bowl Monday.
It is.
Where you take the day off wink, wink, you leave early.
That's right.
You leave work early.
That's right.
In order to go out and party and enjoy yourself. But I just get there's just more and more people not knowing what it is.
Yeah.
Here.
Well, I think that's why the younger people are coming up into it, right? So that they can make sure that they keep the tradition alive.
I hope so. I hope, Who knows what'll happen after we're gone, Kim?
Yeah, right. Well, guess what? When we're gone, it won't be our problem anymore, so we don't have to worry about it.
So you were dingusing. Finish your story about the SOS.
Yeah. So Easter was good. We were with my family all day long, and then we go out dingusing, and it ended up that we were at this American Legion, and my phone rings, and it's my brother-in-law who never calls me. He, normally always texts me, and so I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" He's like, "I've been better," and I'm like, "Okay." Well, they didn't come dingusing with us. They left in the morning to take my niece back to college in Indianapolis, and on their way home, they blew a tire.
Oh no!
And so he's like, "Hey, we're on the side of the road, and we blew a tire, and the car's going to have to be towed. Can you come get us?" I'm like, "I'm on my way." And it's just one of those things where you drop everything. Thankfully, I wasn't drinking. I'm always.
We know in past episodes you're not a drinker, and when you do, it's not good.
It's not a lot. It's not. Yeah. Watch out. But so I wasn't drinking. So I'm like, I'm on my way, and so Tom and I got up, and I took him home because we have the dogs. So he went home to take care of the dogs and to feed them, and then I hopped on. It was about an hour away, but they got the most wonderful tow truck driver. Oh my gosh! So it's my sister, her husband, and their little boy, who's 8. And so they had the van that was there, and the tow truck driver. I was just going to go and find him, and they were going to try and figure out like how to Uber to like someplace, that was close. They were like 13 miles. There's a McDonald's truck stop on 31 by 24.
Yep.
It was 13 miles south of. That's where they stopped. It was 13 miles south of that. So they were going to like Uber up there. Well, the tow truck driver's like, you know what? Let me do this. So he ended up taking Trisha and my nephew up to that McDonald's, and then left Dan with the van, and then went back 13 miles to get Dan and load up the van, and then brought Dan up. So I didn't have to go as far. I was able just to stop at that McDonald's, but then Trisha could get Peyton something to eat, and he could stretch his legs. And there are truly still nice people in this world.
Wow, that is nice. Because usually you never know what you're getting.
No, truly, truly nice people in this world. And so anyway, you talk about family and being there for one another and that kind of thing. Like there wasn't even my nephew said, they call me Mimi. Mimi, you came to get us. And I said, and I want you to remember, Mimi will always come and get you.
Aww.
No matter what, Mimi will always come to get you. I know that, he said. So, you just get one of those things. And so, yeah, I mean, I was glad that I was there. I was glad that we were able to do it. And so I was glad. I was sorry that they had to go through that, but it could have been so much worse. Oh my gosh, blowing a tire on 31, going 65 miles an hour. Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm just so grateful that it wasn't any worse than what it was.
And that's what's nice to have family. You have people you can call and know. So in my case, like I said, I've got older family. I would rather just call a professional.
Well, that's why I have AAA. So if it happened to me, that's what I would do is I'd call AAA.
Because when we were in Chicago, I said, well, they're older, so they don't like to walk as much, even though I walk like 9,000 steps both days. But that's good for me, good for exercising. But we also had to take a cab. I said, let's take an Uber. Oh, no, I don't want to take an Uber. They wouldn't take an Uber, but they'll take a cab. And I'll tell you, we got this cab driver. He was the scariest, and the vehicle was scary. And the cab was scary. He was scary. And he didn't say a word, didn't even look at us. And so I had to sit in the front seat with him. And I thought, well, he must be having a bad day or he's not understanding us or something. So my brother started yelling at him. I mean, yelling because
he didn't think you could hear him.
He couldn't understand him.
Oh, right. Because when there's a foreign language barrier, the louder I talk, the more they understand.
Especially when you're American.
Understood. Yeah.
If I just yell at him in English loud enough, he'll understand. So then I started to just cringe. I thought, this is the longest ride ever from Navy Pier to our hotel, and I could not wait to get there. So it turned out it was only like $10.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
I gave him a 20. I said, thank you. Thank you. And he goes, well, thank you very much. So he understood everything anyway.
Oh, no, even though your dad was yelling.
It's like, I think he was playing a little bit of a game, but yeah, I mean, my brother just kind of goes, why did you give him all that money? I said, it wasn't really that much more. And believe me, he deserved every penny of it.
And there were 4 of us. So, you break it down, it's $2.50 a person.
Well, I thought they'd do that anyway, but he didn't really do that.
Well, that's good.
But Navy Pier, we were at Navy Pier. We were at a Wacker place, so that's not really that far. But I thought,
Well, you did good.
Yeah. I almost apologized. But that was my way of apologizing. I didn't say I'm sorry for having to bear my family. But
it was understood.
Yeah, and he was speaking beautiful English then afterwards. Thank you so much. Thank you. And then we get off we went to Harry Carey's for dinner at Navy Pier. Then we get out of the guy's truck. And my sister-in-law, I'm not laughing about this, but they had really big curves and she fell.
Oh, no.
Well, don't worry. She had a couple beers. And she was laughing about it. I said, well, stop laughing.
That's how you break a hip.
So I said, are you okay? You fell on your knees. Did you hurt yourself? And I'm trying to pick her up. And my cousin won't pick her up because my cousin's old. They're all old. So I am, when in this scenario.
What did it say when you're like the youngest one in the group?
And healthiest one.
Right.
At this point, right? I mean, I'm on my wellness journey. I've lost 34.5 pounds in 12 weeks. I feel great. I'm walking great. I'm not, sweating and puffing and huffing like I usually did. So I'm the healthy one. I'm trying to help her up, and she's laughing so hard. I thought, oh, jeez. And the guy just kind of looked. He couldn't hit the gas fast enough.
Oh, my gosh.
He didn't even try it. I thought, well, that's kind of weird.
Somebody needed to be like getting that on video. I can't believe that's not on TikTok somewhere.
I'm great God it wasn't. But she was laughing, but I think it was the beers that probably did it. But and now, since that was such a success, now my brother's planning a trip for us to go to Chinatown and take the boat. He knows there's the boat. Okay. Boat tour to Chinatown. Okay. In Chicago and do that this summer.
Oh, how fun.
So I think that would be a good time.
Yes.
But I can only imagine.
You know what? Here's the thing, though, right? How lucky are you that even though there's the age gap between your brother and his wife, that they want to spend time with you?
Well, they have no one else.
No, I don't believe that. I mean,
they have
probably
a son.
have friends and they've got kids, but they want to spend time with you. I think that's.
I think they feel sorry for me.
He wants to know how your little job is going.
That's right. And they look at me. How is it living all by yourself? I get the sad eyes. I said, it's perfectly fine.
That's right. I'm good. I got the dog. I'm good.
And so I'm not married for 40 years.
Keith Urban. I'm all right.
We're all doing well.
That's right.
We're all keeping each other company. Mm-hmm. It's all good. Mm-hmm. Well, you like your little house, right? I said, yes, I like my little house.
Yeah, they just don't get it. Well, back in their day, you didn't do that. You know what I mean? And being a single woman and being independent.
Right.
Like that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
You got married and, you were proud.
And you married for 1,000 years, whether you liked it or not.
And that's another thing. I suppose I could be in a marriage. I could have stayed in my marriage and been totally miserable. But I'm just not going to do that.
No. That's not the good quality of life.
No. So I think in their own way, they try and help me out. So we'll do the trip. He's very good at putting trips together. So we'll see, but he's also very rigid about things. I mean, we have to be on do this a certain time, do this a certain time. Like he said, when we were just going to do some sightseeing the other day, and he always wanted to go back to Macy's for some reason. He loves Macy's.
But it's not. Is it Macy's still?
Yeah, there's a Macy's.
Marshall Fields.
Yeah, it was Marshall Fields.
It's Macy's.
Which I love. I remember that as a child.
Yeah,
loved Marshall Fields.
Yeah.
So we go to Macy's, but they never buy anything. Now it was so cold; it was like 40 degrees. So I bought I didn't bring a winter coat, so I got this Columbia coat, regular $300. I got it for $39.99.
Oh my gosh!
It's on clearance.
Oh my gosh! Sure, because now they want bathing suits in. They don't want winter coats in.
Right. So I was excited about that. But then the next day it was 60, so I had to lug that thing around. But he said, well, okay, we're going to meet down here at 8:00. I said, why? Breakfast is running till 10, and why do we have to 8:00?
Yeah.
I'll get out of bed at 8:00. I'll meet you down here about 9:00. And
that's right. You go because they eat dinner at 4:30. So they got to eat breakfast at like 7:30. Otherwise, it's going to throw off the mojo.
And I understand he has pills and stuff to take.
Yes.
So maybe that's why he has to have breakfast early. But I've got this nice hotel room. I'm going to relax. I'm going to have I'm not rushing around. And
that's not their lifestyle at all.
But it's important. I think when you even my cousin who's older, she has a fun lifestyle too. I mean, she's from California. She's always lived. They've always had a different lifestyle out there. Always fun, but always, taking their time, doing their own thing. Mm-hmm. And so when you get everybody together, it's kind of interesting. Now, hopefully, my brother from Vegas will come this summer, but we can all go to Chinatown together. I don't know.
That would be fun.
I'm going to tell them there's no yelling at people because they just because they don't speak English, or maybe not as
good at English as you'd like for them to speak.
Right. You can't yell at them.
No. Yeah, you can't yell at them. You just have to just kind of be kind.
Especially if you're asking for food. Who knows what they'll do in the kitchen? I don't know.
I don't want to know.
I don't either want to know. But it's a lot of fun. I know you do a lot with your family, right?
I do. I'm grateful. We all lived in the same zip code until I moved 2 years ago to like the next city over, which is 20 minutes from my family. But we really do. All but one sister was at Easter. This weekend we're getting together. My mom turns 80 tomorrow, which is hard to believe.
That's right.
Yeah. And she had open heart surgery 8 weeks ago. So,
oh no, how is she?
She's doing better. Yeah, she's doing better. But, I understand what you're saying, all the things that you're saying. Mm-hmm. And so we were going to have a big party for her this weekend because of her birthday. And then we were like, no, not with the whole surgery and not knowing how she was going to feel. And so we're just getting lunch and taking it over there. But I did do something kind of fun because I thought I didn't want it to be just like we normally do family dinner night once a month. And I didn't want it to be like that. So I went on ChatGPT and I said, okay, what kind of fun questions could you ask somebody at their 80th birthday party? And so I got all these questions. And so I'm going to fold them up and put them in a cup. And then everybody will pick a thing and ask my mom a question. Like if you were in the 1960s and going on a date, like what would you wear? How has technology changed? All that kind of stuff. So those were questions for my mom. Mm-hmm. Then I've got a whole nother set of questions that are for us, that we ask us to tell a story about my mom. Oh. So it was like, what was your favorite meal that mom cooked for you? Or if, in your eyes, if mom was a superhero, who would she be? And so anyway, I just think it'll be a lot of fun. Instead of sitting around and like looking at each other and, kind of making it so that the spotlight is on her. So
see, that's why you're good at things. You know how to, make things fun.
I hope so.
And make things more interesting.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope that's what that's what I want to achieve. So I hope it's successful. I'll let you know.
I bet Trish and everybody would say that's what you're good at.
Yeah. I hope so.
But being the oldest, do you feel any responsibility to do that?
Yeah, especially with like this, it's funny because I've only known Tom. It'll be 4 years in August. And he will say to me many times, you are the one that holds this family together. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, I don't see that. And he goes, I'm telling you, as an outsider, you are the one that holds this family together. My mom will have the idea, let's do family dinner night. Okay. Kim, could you send a text message out and go ahead and arrange all the things and who's bringing what? So it's her idea to have it, but she doesn't do any of the things to pull it together. Yeah. And so, like with the party with my mom and then kind of backing up and regrouping and doing it where we're just going to do it at her house and that kind of thing. I don't know if it's responsibility as much as it's just who I am. Mm-hmm. Right. I love people and I love bringing people together. And I'm the happiest when my four sisters, all four of us girls are together. That's when I love it the best.
And I think that's important too, because where you're born, your birth order does give you a certain place in the family.
Yeah.
So you being the oldest.
Yeah.
That automatically puts you in that position where you would just take charge of things.
Yeah.
Right?
But yes, it does. But I also have to watch it because I want it a certain way. So my expectations are such, right? So at one point in time, we weren't sure that one of my sisters was going to be able to make it on Saturday for my mom's birthday. And I was like, not happy. I'm like, look, this is all she wanted was for us to be together and blah, 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 blah. And so when somebody's missing, it's not, I have to just get to the point. It is what it is. And, I have a saying that, if it's supposed to be, it'll be. And I want everybody there, but maybe everybody's not supposed to be there. So I have to embrace more of that. Like it's not I can lay it out and put it all together and invite them, but they have free will too. So if they choose not to participate, it's not for me to judge.
Well, and there's just, like I said, different perspectives with birth order, because my brother is the oldest and I'm the youngest, and he will always see me as somewhat, not irresponsible, but somebody who went on this radio thing and just was a gypsy and moved away. But yet I came back to help my dad when he needed it, So, but it's always kind of a different way that you look at people.
Well, and you will always be the baby to them.
Yeah.
You will, and you're the only girl.
Mm-hmm.
So you will always, it's like Trisha. She will always be the baby to all of us, right? Even though she's in her 40s, she'll always be the baby.
What would you do if she wanted to because I know you wanted to take charge and do this family thing?
Yeah.
How would you?
My question would be, how can I support you?
But you wouldn't try and take it over or give ideas.
It's just, it's one of those things you step up because nobody else steps up sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. And so if she came to me and says, hey, I'll go ahead and do this, great. How can I support you? Like, that would be my question. Like, what do you need my help with? But if you want to go ahead and take the lead and organize it, I'm cool with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Kim Becker is awesome. She really is. I'm going to adopt you as my sister.
I will take that. I would love that.
Which we kind of are anyway because we're dressed alike today.
We are.
Exactly.
We
have blue.
Have to make sure that you look at our Facebook page later because we'll send a picture. Like, we literally have the exact same outfit on. So fun.
It is kind of funny. And we all have, this shows we have good taste. And we know our colors.
That's right. That's right. Even the colors. That's so funny.
Well, that is our podcast. Look, it's already done.
It goes so fast.
It really does.
It goes so fast.
We never like to have a total agenda, but I sometimes have something in my head. But it just kind of takes off.
It just goes. Yep.
I did have one lady reach out and she said, I just love to listen. I listen on the weekend. She said on Saturdays, I have my coffee and I turn it on and I'll listen. And she goes, I'll giggle to myself and people are looking at me like I'm nutty. She said, my daughter comes in or my grandchildren would come in and they'll just come in and just start laughing at me. And I said, well, that's a good thing.
That's right. We want to make you giggle. We want to make you smile.
And if you'd like to let us know if we make you giggle or smile, or if we just aggravate you, that could happen.
Well, I don't want to hear those comments.
Well, come on.
Don't tell me. No, don't tell me.
Well, you can send it to me.
Deb, keep those to yourself.
Deb at B100.com. That's how you can get a hold of me. How can they get a hold of you? With only good thoughts and nice thoughts.
Only good thoughts. That's right. K. Becker at hellogorgeous.org.
And now it's Unfiltered Brew. This is our April episode. Thank you so much for listening. And, pass it along if you love it or if you don't like it. But if you don't like it, don't let Kim know.
That's right. I don't want to hear it.
Have a wonderful rest of your month. We will be back in May. Thank you.
Thank you.